Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another creative woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi, my name is Gila Kurtz. I am based in Seal Beach, California, Southern California, and I am here to share my story. One of the things that I'd like to start off by saying is that I am a believer that dogs can change the way you see the world. I am also 57 years old, and it has been a fascinating journey as I'm watching as an observer how life has kind of come full circle. I remember the time actually sitting in a classroom. I was 7.5 years old. 7.5 years old, second grade, and had just been asked by the teacher to come up to the chalkboard to help erase what was on the board. And I remember being excited as I walked to the front of the room wearing my new little Buster Brown shoes that my mom had just gotten me that just kind of clicked and clacked on the floor as I walked to the front. And when I turned around to face the classroom after erasing what was on the chalkboard, I remember this moment of just feeling excitement and awe, looking out at the classroom. And literally in that moment, I wanted to become a teacher. I just thought it was the coolest thing to be able to stand in front of the class and maybe say something. And progressively, as the weeks and the months went on, the teacher had different tasks for the students, and I always volunteered, and I always ended up in the front of the classroom. And after school, I would race down the street to where my father worked at a synagogue and run into the classrooms there and proceed to replay what took place in that second grade class as a teacher. At the time, my name would be Miss Levine, and I would call on all the students as I was teaching a lesson and basically just kind of living through what I didn't realize at the time was setting an intention and begin the journey of manifesting a life and a career in service as an educator that I would get to realize how many years later, 15 years later, because once I graduated from college, I did go on to pursue a career in teaching and absolutely loved every single minute of it. Taught high school, U.S. history, psychology, and was able to really engage in what felt such an aligned purpose. Now, fast forward to when I got to meet and then ultimately marry my husband, who was in the military. That was an exciting time, except for the fact that we would have to move every couple of years, which meant teaching was more of a challenge. I was unable to find a position in the teaching role that I had. And so I was then presented with an opportunity to start opening up new doors and explore what other things might be available to me, whether it was a career or, as I quickly realized, that there was this whole world called entrepreneurship. And so I took the opportunity to explore what that might look like. and started one of what would ultimately be several businesses over the course of many years. First in direct sales, selling lingerie to people, to women at home parties, was incredibly successful with that. Then getting into the health and wellness business, then serving in a sales capacity for promotional products. But it was ultimately my role in running and operating a gourmet coffee vending business that began to transform my life, because it was during that time period where I was setting up our business, the machines in different locations, that I brought along with me a very excitable and unruly Dalmatian. She would join me on my route, and at the end of the route, we would end up at a dog park. And at the dog park one day, I had a conversation with somebody who was there with many dogs. Turns out that person was a professional dog walker. Now, this is, about 25 plus years ago. And at the time, that was not a thing. So I found it quite fascinating. And I remember in the moment making a decision that I would pursue a career in that role. The Navy, however, took us to a new location where dog walking was really not needed, kind of a rural area in the panhandle of Florida. But I realized my newfound love for dogs. This was the first dog in my life that I had ever had. And I decided, how cool would it be to combine not only my passion for dogs, but more importantly, my passion for helping people and teaching. And so I became a professional dog trainer. Through that process, I grew a very successful dog training business in multiple locations wherever we moved. And it was at that point in time that I was attending a continuing education conference where there was a vendor hall and a person selling t-shirts. And the t-shirts all said the same thing: I love my, and then had a dog on it. And I remember standing in front of it thinking, I do love my dog, but it's more than that. I want to articulate it in a much more profound way. And I want it to be cute, something that I could wear and something that would be fun. And so following that event, I shared the idea with my husband, and we decided to build a business. And the business still stands today. It's called Dog is Good. It's a lifestyle brand for dog lovers. We do many, many things. We offer pop-up shops to dog lovers who want to start a business with our brand. We sell into retail stores all over the world. We license our designs to other manufacturers, and it's been an incredible journey. But the interesting thing, and the thing that I didn't expect, is this. What started off as something that was very passion driven started to take over my life. And the more successful we became, which occurred quite rapidly, the more engrossed I became in doing more and more and more. And approximately 5 years into the growth of the company, I woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, and truly didn't even recognize the person that I saw. I basically worked 24/7. I had really neglected my friendships. I was present for my daughter, but only in that I volunteered very small amounts of time to the activities that she was engaged in. I really just poured everything in. And in the process, I was beginning to lose myself, what was important to me, and noticed that I just felt very, very sad. And so it occurred to me that when you're not really clear on what success looks like, you can go down a path that leads you to a place you really don't want to be. Because suddenly I found myself suffering from spiraling into a real abyss, suffering from clinical depression, very dark thoughts of taking my own life were present on a consistent basis. And it didn't matter what it looked like to the outside world, which was very appealing to a lot of people. People thought I had just a wonderful life. And while I am grateful for the moments of despair, because it has led me to where I am today, it was a moment in time that I just never expected myself to be. And I felt a lot of shame around that. How can things be going so well and I feel so deeply sad and deeply overwhelmed, and in a place where I just really didn't want any of it. And I didn't know how to get out of it. But at the time, I had taken on the responsibility of raising a guide dog. We did this as a company. We wanted to create awareness for the tremendous and important service that this organization provided to people in need of seeing eye dogs and guide dogs. And I wanted to create that awareness and also raise funds to support their organization, which we did through our company. And I will never forget the turning point. I was probably at my lowest of lowest lows, a place I never would have ever imagined I would have ever been. And I was sitting on my bed, and the sun was coming up. The rays were kind of peeking through the shades. And there was this yellow lab sitting in a crate. And she was ecstatic. As I sat there just melting into my bed, struggling just to put my feet on the floor, she was giving me a full body wag. Her tail was going crazy. Her whole body just exuded this joy that I just was so enamored by. And it was as though she was saying, like, it's another day. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Hurry up. Let me out. And why aren't you so excited? And the energy that she was just emanating from her crate. Obviously, I got up and quickly opened it and took her out to do her business. Following which she picked up a toy and just continued to just be so excited. And I remember thinking to myself, if only I could feel like she did, or expresses herself on a daily basis, I would do anything to find a way to be more like that. And so I made a commitment in that moment and a promise to myself that if I would just look for a lesson, if I could just glean from her something and then work to internalize that for myself, that just maybe I could pull myself out of this. And that was really what I chose to do. And so I began to follow her and watch her consistently. I started to commit to putting down my phone at first thing in the morning, stopping to start all my emails at 4 a.m. in the morning, spend some time just sitting with her and breathing, and begin journaling, reading important publications that really helped my mindset. And what I discovered over the course of almost a year was that it truly is possible to change the way you see the world, to shift who you are by deciding who you want to be, and by taking committed and disciplined action in strategic steps to get there. And upon that process, I documented it and ended up writing a book called For Covered Wisdom, A Dog Can Change the Way You See the World, which began a catalyst, putting me in front of women, much like many of us, right? Questioning what we're doing, or seeking more clarity, or choosing to up-level who we are and how we show up as a leader and in the things that we do. And it provided me with a chance to connect with them through that book. And then ultimately through a course conversation that I created called Alpha Reimagined, which is a process that I created to help people learn to be more effective self-leaders with their lives, and then how that can emanate through all the other things that they're connected in. And as I reflect on all these years right now and the journey that I've gone through, I can see where I've come full circle. Start going back to that moment as a 7-year-old turning around to face a classroom and thinking, I just want to serve. I just want to teach. I just want to inspire and help people, or be that lighthouse, if you will, that sheds light on possibility. And in the creation of our company and the growth of the business, seeing where lack of clarity was the first chip in the ultimate cracking of a foundation, right? That once getting clear on what one wants and how one wants to feel and what brings meaning to one's life, everything else begins to unfold. But it's very interesting to me as well to note that I believe we're all put here on earth for something powerful and important. And for everybody, it's very different. For me, it's showing up as a teacher, as someone to hold space for others to step into. And through that, whenever I operate in that space, in my business currently, in the work I get to do as a mentor and a guide through For Covered Wisdom and Alpha Reimagined, in the work that I get to do serving business owners as a mentor with another company, I am at peace. Everything feels easier. Everything is filled with joy. And it makes me excited to continue to step up and to learn and to continue to grow as a person and to help others learn from the process and the things that I've learned.
Wow, Gila, what an incredible story. You know, life is interesting. As women, as entrepreneurs, our measure for success and our strive to get there can sometimes overtake everything to a point where you forget where you're at, you forget the important things, you're so focused on making the business a success, and this dog just pulled you back and brought you back into the present, right? So,
Yes.
if there is an entrepreneur who is listening to us right now and is in the same position you were in at that point, based on what life has taught you, what three nuggets of wisdom could you share? Somebody who's in that sense of overwhelm, they've been going, trying to make the business to succeed, and they've lost track of everything else in their lives. Give us three nuggets of wisdom.
That's a great question, and thank you for asking that. I think the first and most important is answering the question, how do I want to be? How do I want to feel? So kind of a combined statement there. When you can identify how you want to feel and how you wish to be in this world, it helps to clarify some other things. Number two is to spend the time sitting with vision. What does success look like to you? And I don't mean by a number or anything like that, but what does success look like in all the areas of your life? If you were to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, what would make you say that they're a 10? So spending some time in vision and identifying what you really want. And then the third would be to be curious. Be curious about the world around you. Be curious about what you may not even know that you don't know. And be curious about people, because there is so much that we can learn on a daily basis that helps to expand who we are as individuals and give us new perspectives on things that we may not have thought about before.
I love that. Now, dogs have got a way, like little children, of making us present. You know how you talked about this dog wagging its tail, excited that it was a brand new day. It's almost like they erase what happened yesterday. Today is exciting. What are we going to do? Let's go and do it. Now, you can do this with almost anything, especially if you have a pet, if you have a small child. I have a grandson right now who, when I'm in his presence, I can only be present to him. There's no time for anything else, right? What about that person who doesn't have a dog, who doesn't have a pet? What recommendations would you give to help people just start on a clean slate every single day? Where would you take us from there?
Yes, that's such a great question. And it's so true. I think one of the reasons why dogs and animals in general are so joyful is they do not live in the past and they do not try to anticipate the future. Being present is a challenge. We're in a society where, that's that mindfulness, that awareness piece is often challenged by all the distractions that we have going on around us. And so one of the things that worked for me is setting aside some time to actually engage in what that practice feels like. So my morning routine, which has been consistent for, 10 years now, of being thoughtful, revisiting my vision, every single morning, the meditative practice, the journaling, it does make me grounded, and it sets the tone for the day. Because I also answer the question that I pose to myself in my journal. How do I always say today is another gift. I've been granted 24 hours. And so, and once they're gone forever. So how do I wish to be? And then listing those things out. So it creates an awareness. And I think that's probably the most important place to start, is just a noticing like, oh my gosh, I'm in worry and anxious. That's because I'm in the future, or I'm feeling sad or depressed. Well, that's where I'm anchoring in the past. So when you can just stop for a second and go, oh, there that is again, it just came up for me. Then it helps to bring you back to where you are. And that's a practice, and that's a habit that does need to get cultivated. And it starts with a noticing, an awareness, and implementing just a couple habits that can help keep you there and help you stay grounded in the moment.
You touched a little bit on mental health issues. I think we all have at some point in our lives had, thoughts of suicide, thoughts of just wanting to end it all. But you're right. They say that stress is caused by you focusing on something that may or may not happen in the future. Depression is based on those things that have happened that you can't go back and change. But just being aware of it brings you back into the present, right? Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful nugget of wisdom. Now, as I was cyber stalking you, I went onto your website. I am fascinated with your range of products. You've got some really exquisite gifts. Let's talk about your brand in terms of what you've done and with merchandising. It's quite fascinating, the range of products you have. I was actually quite shocked.
Well, thank you. Well, I will say thank you. If you are a dog lover watching this, you will absolutely love Dog is Good. Just go to dogisgood.com. And right now we're in what we like to call the For the Love of Dog, right? For those of us who have dogs, they totally understand what the essence of that feels like, what that relationship is, and why there is this tremendous, unconditional, and profound connection that we have with our dogs. So Valentine's Day, of course, is a wonderful time to celebrate that. We have this one new product that is, I love everything we have, but this product is without question one of my faves. It is this cute little sweatshirt with a little puppy dog and some hearts, and it's just very simple. And it just says dog is love, which truly, to me, expresses the essence of the relationship. Dog is love. Dogs are the essence of love. And that's why we feel it so much whenever we're connected with them. And that's why they make people smile all the time. No matter what. But yes, we have a breadth of products available that people can purchase online. And, something else that I want to invite people to consider is one of the things I'm very proud of that has had quite a positive impact for a lot of dog lovers is the Fur Covered Wisdom, where you can get a note of inspiration from your very own dog every single week. This is written in your dog's voice, and the feedback that we get is tremendous. For some reason, uncanny reason, people receive exactly what they need to hear in the moment they need to hear it. Of course, I believe it's the universe talking, and there's no mistake there. But that's something people can sign up for free on the website. And, also if there's people who are excited about the idea of maybe starting a business around their passion for dogs, they can explore our pop-up shop opportunity. We help dog lovers all over the country right now build out mobile shops that they can take to a number of different venues and locations and build a business either on a part-time or full-time basis. So we are very excited about how we show up as a company. We also have a foundation, the Dog is Good for Good Foundation, where we support hyper-local nonprofits, children's literacy programs, and an amazing program called the Bolo Project, which is for teenagers. The mission there is building confident, inspired future leaders of impact. So we're serving them around mindset, goal setting, leadership, communication skills, and a service project where they get to support animal welfare.
Wow. Absolutely fascinating, Gila. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your inspiration with us today. I love the fact that you're giving back to so many different organizations through your business, empowering teenagers. A lot of kids are needing that right now. Those leadership skills are going to be invaluable when they become adults. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is attracting some phenomenal women. This is very, very inspiring. Come back again tomorrow when I interview another fascinating woman. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Gila, thanks again for the interview.
Thank you.
Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.